Here's my impression of Lolo and Lola in remembrance of Lola's upcoming birthday, for the love of God, country, and family. Doña Victoria and Don Salvador Araneta would not have been able to conceive of FEATI if it were not for their inherent love of God, country, and family. They inspire us to think larger than ourselves and for the love of community and beyond. May we all aspire to be like them.
My Lola loved to collect art and antiques. Her home was full of beautiful things. But when Lola Vic needed to buy equipment for FEATI, she sold some of her collection to fund the cost. It was perhaps a hard decision, made easier because of her love of FEATI. She knew that by her sacrifice, it would benefit many. Another story of Lola Vic was when she was invited to go to Malacanang during the presidency of Elpidio Quirino. When Lola Vic arrived and entered the hall, she was flanked by the FEATI honor guards that she brought for the occasion. She really knew how to dazzle and make an entrance. Everyone in Malacanang took notice. My Lola was very proud of FEATI and wanted everyone to know it. Growing up, when I would accompany my mom to FEATI, I would often look at my Lola Vic's aqua green metal desk. There, preserved in time, was a sheet of paper with the typewritten lyrics of Getting to Know You from the musical The King and I. It was one of her favorite songs. The lyrics read, "Because of all the wonderful and new things I'm learning about you day by day." This is perhaps what she'd like to tell us today, that learning isn't just for students, but for everyone. I'm sure my Lola Vic would be very proud of FEATI and its students, and I would like to thank everyone for preserving this tradition of learning that she worked so very hard for.
She was Mrs. Araneta, Doña Victoria, Manang Vic, or even the boss to many people. To us, we always remember her as simply Lola. Growing up with her in Vancouver during her twilight years, we had little idea of her great endeavors in the Philippines. For us, she was the Lola that beautifully cut our apples in the morning. She was the Lola that would dance ballet and the waltz with us after dinner. She was the Lola that would sneak to us candies and chips late at night. She was the Lola that we would snuggle with in bed when we were scared to sleep on our own. We now appreciate what great business, social, and civic leader she was in the Philippines. And we are so thankful for that legacy and how she has inspired us in our professional, social, and civic lives. But while we had little knowledge of these endeavors, growing up we always knew that she was a great woman, a tremendous lady, and the Lola who loved us with all her heart. We think of her and miss her every day.
I remember Lola Vic as a woman ahead of her time, not only in business and education, street smart, courageous, and supremely confident, but also who inspired us to do better. Lolo Sal was an extremely intelligent man who made us memorize a Spanish phrase or story before going to the beach in La Union, but was also a gentle and loving grandfather who always thought of those who were less fortunate. We were blessed as a family to have both of them as our grandparents and miss them dearly.
Fellow FEATinians and my dearest mother. I call myself a FEATinian because I studied flying at the FEATI Flying School at the age of 14. I learned how to fly before I learned how to drive. Mom, I thank you for the many times you brought me to FEATI with you. You also brought my children, my 3 daughters, to FEATI even when they were toddlers. You wanted them to be with you so you could watch them grow up. We had the playpen, we had the typing school for the 3 daughters, Stella, Mylene, Geraldine. Danielle was not yet born. You also asked your grandchildren, Vicky Santos Ocampo and Margie Segovia, to study typing. And they were like 4, 5, or 7 years old. They were under Mrs. Talents. You also taught them that they needed to know religion. So you called for your catechist and they studied and their first lesson was on Deuteronomy. My 3 daughters studied under Professor Florentino Calip painting, and after a while, they moved to a higher scale of learning under Ibarra de la Rosa, a very famous painter. When he was having his class, people would stop and watch him. They were not your students, but then they became FEATians in some way or other. You had also Dr. Santos, who organized the St. Peter's Society. And every year, he would be so happy to come to your office to tell you that he had been invited once again to bring the FEATI band and the Presidential Honor Guards to escort the statue of the Black Nazarene in Quiapo. Dear Mom, there are just so many memories. And I must not stop until I tell you about you bringing my eldest daughter, Stella, who was only like 4 or 5, to the Luneta to watch your parade, to watch your ROTC and the marching band. You had also the maneuvers and fancy drill that everybody wanted to beat, but no one did. Mom, you heard Frank Sinatra sing, "I did it my way." You told me no. I did it God's way. Thank you, Mom, for doing it God's way. And as you would always end your speech with saying, "I love you all," for you I say to everybody, all you FEATians, faculty members, professors, administrators, maintenance, just all of you students, part-time and full-time, those whose parents sacrificed so much for you to get a better education than they did. Thank you very much for loving FEATi. God bless.